Welcome to Make a Path Presents. I'm Ronnie Hayes, and today in the review room we have some Color Tops figures from McFarlane Toys. Now we're going to do something a little different. I'm going to be making a 6-video set. They're going to be quick reviews on each figure, which is going to be Rick, Michonne, Travis, Madison, Daryl. We're going to take a look at them, compare them to the original release figures, which are the smaller 5-inch versions, and then at the end we're going to do an overall review. So you can actually, when we finish Rick Grimes, I'm going to try to post these back to back. So once you watch, if it's a new video, once you watch Rick Grimes review, you can check out Michonne on the video playlist right behind him, and then right behind her will be Travis. And then once we get done with Daryl, who is the recent released figure from McFarlane Toys in this line, once we get done with Daryl, we're going to do an overall review and then talk about some of the box art and the future of this wave, because right now in the collectible groups, it's a little rocky, it's a little shaky. So let's start off with Rick Grimes. We're going to take a look at him, get rid of this head. This head comes with Daryl. We'll take a quick look at him, and then we will move on to Michonne. So let's kick it off. Here's Daryl, here's Daryl. Here's Rick Grimes from the Color Tops. He's number 1 on his box. The numbers really only matter if you collect all franchises, because in the Color Top series you have like Assassin's Creed, Attack on Titan, you have all Gears of War, Titanfall, a bunch of different franchises under one umbrella, which is the Color Top. So the numbers aren't going to matter unless you collect all of them, because if you only collect The Walking Dead and Fear the Walking Dead and maybe Spawn or something, you're going to be missing numbers. Anyway, we're going to take a look at this guy. He's a Season 6 version of Rick Grimes with the cuts and bandages, and he looks kind of similar to the prison Rick Grimes, so we'll do a little bit of comparing. I don't know why he has Daryl's crossbow. Let's get rid of that. These guys tend to steal each other's weapons in the middle of the night, or my daughter is the one putting them on them. I don't know. I still haven't figured it out yet. But right off the bat, you might notice something. There is a lack of articulation with these figures, so the detail is going to be your top priority, because the pose they come in is usually, so far, the only pose you can fit them in. Like this Rick Grimes, he stands up good, decent without the base, don't make me a liar, and he only really has one pose. I've seen some fans hold his gun out. For me, that doesn't work, because if I'm going to sacrifice articulation as a collector, I want it to look great. If I'm sacrificing articulation for detail, I'm not going to deal with this on the shelf looking like shit. And even when he holds his gun out, it looks like his shoulder's dislocated or something. Something weird's going on there. So with the Rick, he comes with a base only, and his iconic, there goes his base, which, as you guys can tell, or guess ahead of time, the weapons have really good detail. This size has some real nice detail with the weapons and the figures. The detail usually isn't a problem. Paint apps is what you're going to be careful with. Now, taking a look at Rick Grimes, the detail, like I said, the detail is going to be great. I think he's probably one of the best figures likeness-wise that they have made so far. Now, style-wise, I do like the Series 8 Rick. However, the likeness, you just can't compare to the details in the bigger figures. I mean, everything. If you look at faces compared to the 5-inch figures, these bigger figures will always win. Because with the 5-inch figures, they just can't do as much detail. Sculpting wise, there's some good work. The 5-inch are still good to collect, but detail wise, it's just no contest. Even right in the shirt, you can actually get a texture in the shirt. With the 5-inch, it's like the texture is painted on, so it looks like it, but it doesn't have the folds. You can see that really well in the pants. I don't know how well that's going to show on camera, but the pants actually have a denim texture to it, like in the sculpt. With the 5-inch, you don't get that. That detail is not there. So basically you can already tell that the detail overall, and we did a quick video about Rick and Michonne, so we're going to speed through them to get to Daryl. He's the best likeness. Now articulation wise, you already know he has this bones sticking out on his neck. That's because he's only meant to go in one position. So moving anything renders that articulation pointless on this figure specifically, because you'll see coming up a few figures have some different articulation. Even twisting his waist, a lot of this stuff renders it pointless. Now here's the thing, if I'm going to buy this as a statue, the detail's fantastic, I love it, that's fine. I'll still buy it, I'll still put it on the shelf. But the problem areas, these cuts in the thighs. Now I don't know if that's to make it easier building the figure, you know what I mean? Like let's say they make the crotch area separate, the body, the arms, and then the legs and the feet, they make them all separate and then they piece them together. Maybe that's how they do it, but I wish they wouldn't, because every single figure is problematic in the thighs. You're getting these gaps. Daryl's horrible. Daryl's the worst. He's the best likeness, I think, out of all of them. Him and Michonne fight for the best likeness, but Daryl has some serious issues with the gaps in the thighs. It almost makes it impossible for his figure to stand. Now this is pliable, so you can move that around a good bit. And his legs and his thighs, a lot of this with the cuts, you can move it a hair to kind of get it in position, like you can twist his arms somewhat, but you can never go and do something really dynamic with the posing, because once you move it too much, the cuts make it look like it's off center and you can see flat pieces sticking out. I mean, it's pretty ugly. So for the look of the figure, I think the look does really well. They have a problem with Rick Grimes doing the paint. For some reason, this is the best one that I found at the store. I had to dig through a pile of 20, and this is the best Rick Grimes face I could find. For some reason, I saw a few that had horrible paint on the lips, horrible paint for the stubble. He has like a 5 o'clock shadow, and some of it was laughable. It was just bad. But likeness-wise, I'll take this likeness over a 5-inch figure if I had to choose. That's it. That's what I want. However, with the articulation, I figured out something that makes a lot of sense. When I bought this Rick Grimes, I put him on the shelf and I was like, okay, you know, for likeness, I like it. He looks good. However, something happened. I didn't care to pick him up. I didn't care to look at him or display him in any different way. I kind of put him on his base. I slapped him on the shelf. You can see he's got really good detail all throughout his clothes. But I put him on his base. I slapped him on the shelf. And then I left them there to collect dust. Then I got this other figure, which was a comic series 5 Shane, right? It was the Shane with the walker head. He has an alternate head. He comes with a head on a pole. Really cool stuff. And I actually found myself sitting there for a few minutes figuring out what neat little, you know, pose to put Shane in. That way he looks really cool in the background. So I had him holding his shotgun up as if he's right about to cock it. And I think that is the magic that's missing for a collector. If you put him on display, that's like some of the magic that's missing. Because for this Rick, he's already made to pose. So I just kind of took him out of the box and put him on the shelf, and I didn't really care to pick him up again. But with the Shane figure, I found myself going back every now and then when I first got him, just to get him in that right pose, just to see how many different poses he could be in. And there's something, as a collector, putting them on display and proud of your display. There's something that's an extra bonus in doing that. I have such a busy schedule. Taking 5 minutes out of my day to just turn around in my office and rearrange this stupid little toy is relaxing as hell. I mean, I can't even tell you how relaxing that was. I displayed him and then another figure, and then I turned around and went back to work, and it was like a rejuvenated, a breath of fresh air. It's like going outside and taking a breath of fresh air. It was a small break I needed, and it was nice, you know? You don't get that type of interaction with these figures. And I'm not going to repeat myself, I'm going to move on, but my final point, somebody took one of these figures in a collector's group, the Rick Grimes. He put him in, I believe, like a NECA style body with the Series 8 coat. that type of coat, his jacket, and it looks so damn cool. And I got that same feeling that I was like, man, I would love to get him because he's well articulated, so you can have him holding a gun, his machine gun, a machete. You can have multiple different poses, and I would give this figure, I'd give every single figure up in a heartbeat right now that you see on this table, except for Negan. I'd give them all up to get a Rick Grimes in that coat that is well articulated and detailed well. I tell you what, I'd give him up in a heartbeat. Wouldn't even think about it. Anyway, you guys let me know what you think about this Rick. We are going to shift over to a separate video to go to Michonne. Again, I'm going to try to upload them back to back, so keep an eye out for the Michonne list. There's an eye up here to click on that, and the conversation's not over. I neglected a lot of collector videos for the collectors, and this is my apology. We're going to do a big comeback, 6-video set, so go ahead and check out the Michonne video. And if you want more from the Rick, I have a Rick and Michonne video that I did some tweaking with the articulation and taking a look at the details. If this wasn't enough and you want to see my thoughts on that initial video, check out my first look, Michonne and Rick Grimes. Subscribe now.